Definitely very noisy. And just like that, here we are at Evolve. I think the hint is there. That's what we're doing today. Let's get this thing in. As usual, there's just everything, yeah, pretty much. I was going to say just BMWs, but there's practically every nice car there is. Don't worry, we are going to be sorting them exhaust tips out shortly. Right folks, so welcome back to another video. We're back again with the RS3. Now you will have saw in the last video, we fitted a full exhaust to the car. It's currently stage 1 and we did get it back on the dyno, and the after figures weren't as high as I was expecting. Reason being, the stock airbox is restricting the car. So to remedy that, yes, we are fitting an Eventuri stationary intake like we did on my old white car. Worked fantastic on that, so it made sense to replicate on this. Thought I'd bring down another Audi or Volkswagen to annoy Aston with. It's just a bit of deja vu from last year.
Yeah, just a different colour.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, clean. And it's clean, yeah. I mean, as you can see, my decision making is very creative. I just get the same car a year later.
Keep it consistent.
I'll give you folks a quick tour of the workshop whilst that's getting unboxed. So E46 CSL, E39 M5 supercharged, E92 M3 high mileage project car, the F9 M5 that all of you probably know about, Supra, F80 M3. I believe this is the Japan Red E92 M3, M Coupe, M2 with the full kind of CSL look going on, or GTS let's say. Hurricane with, I believe, an Eventuri intake on there. Okay, that's probably like a prototype or something. I won't hang around there too much. And we've got the G80 M3. Is this like the Audi corner of the workshop then, yeah, Aston?
We'll keep more tucked down the back because I want to see it from front.
Okay, so yeah, whenever someone sees the shutter open, they don't get too worried when they see Audis in a BMW specialist workshop. They only deal in oversteer here, so that's all I can say. Okay, so we've got everything unboxed here. Give you a quick run through. So we've got the duct here, which is obviously got part of the front. It's a full-on scoop, directs air straight into the filter housing. As mentioned, this is the stage 3 version, so the filter is absolutely massive. That's going to sit about there. Join onto that, we've got this main pipe here. And then off that we will have obviously various silicone hoses and joiners, and there will be a new heat shield also. But then we've got this, which is the operated turbo inlet. So this is in dry carbon, and it's going to replace the factory very restrictive turbo inlet pipe. We've also got these adapters in the box as well for the stock turbo and the operated turbos as well.
Yeah, so if you've got the operated turbo, you have to say that you've got the operated turbo so we can give you the adapter for it.
Okay, so everyone's got their own methods, but the official instructions for the Eventuri state that you have to do from underneath the car, right?
Yeah, so basically you remove this charge pipe here.
Yep.
You've got one screw up there, and you've got one screw up the back, and then just up there.
All right.
And then the Jubilee on the silicone up here, and that's basically just take that pipe out and it gives you more access to the turbo inlet.
Okay, yeah.
It makes it a lot easier to change.
Yeah.
If your hands are small enough and you can bend enough, you can get round to the bottom of it from the top.
Yeah.
I think that's the way Hash does it. Some people do it that way, but we'll do it this way just because that's the way it shows in the instructions.
Now, I'm going to be honest, folks, it is quite hard to get the camera up there, so I won't be able to show you exactly what's going on, but I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out if you're fitting one or getting one fitted. You'll get there in the end, I promise you. Right, so now we can simply just pull out the old turbo elbow.
Yeah, so take all the intake out, and then the turbo elbow out, put the new one back in.
So Aston, are the Eventuri stuff always having discos over there?
They're always raving it up over there.
There's always something going on.
Hey, what can we say? It's a nice place to work.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Yeah, I mean, that's loads of space for air to get through, isn't it?
Compared to...
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of noticeable, isn't it, Aston? Any hoses coming off it?
Yeah, this one on here just unclips.
Here we go.
And then that stays attached. It's a drain.
So a little comparison of the stock versus the Eventuri intake pipe. So, first of all, the diameter. That's pretty much the biggest difference right there. Yeah. It also looks slightly longer as well, I'm guessing because of the angle or the way it sits.
So it's a lot longer because it takes obviously this pipe and the, where's the stock airbox, and the silicone pipe as well.
Okay, so it counts for some of that as well.
Yeah, so it takes up part of that.
Oh, look at that.
There we go. Turbo end.
Yep. And there is the intake side of things. Very noticeable again. I think the key word for today is noticeable. In my opinion, if you're going to go through the effort of putting an intake on one of these cars, just get the turbo inlet pipe done as well. That's where you're going to see a bunch of gains. So what I'll do at this point, I'll put in a little time lapse for you guys to enjoy, see some carbon goodies being added to the car, and yeah, I'll catch up with you guys on the other end. So as you can tell, sounds very good. Back at MRC again, it's like I pretty much live here. Okay, so the plan for today is we're going to get the car back onto the dyno now that we've got the Eventuri intake fitted. As you remember in the last video, we're here with Dean again, by the way. Right. He's waiting for me to point the camera at his face and have a little discussion about what's going on here, but we've clearly got a wide variety of tools for today's job.
Multitude of tools.
Yep, so a spark plug socket. I've also bought you a present from DHL.
We're getting rid of the JDM Hamza, look.
JDM Hamza, you know. Clearly everyone loved those exhaust tips. I mean, never had such a positive reception to a set of exhaust tips ever before. Now currently we are on stock plugs. They are relatively new, but I just want to swap them out for a set of NGKs. In theory, the car is basically a full stage 1 plus now, so hopefully you get closer to, say, like a 495 horsepower mark. Moment of truth.
What you bought them for?
But that's how it should be, isn't it?
They're going to look rubbish.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to put these on and I'm going to prefer the titanium ones after this. Now, one thing I did notice in the exhaust video is quite hard to sort of get the whole tone of the Miltech. It's very deep in person, but it did sound quite high pitched on video. Some people were comparing it to the old white Sportback with the OPF delete, but I do think this sounds a lot better in person. There's a lot more of a kind of whole feeling to it. And there's no drone in the cabin at motorway speed, so you can drive in comfort like a normal person and it's all good. Very complex job going down here, removing coil packs.
On a 400 degrees engine.
400 degrees. For a second there, I thought there was oil at the back there, then I just realised that the Eventuri silicon's just really shiny.
It's a shiny pipe.
Shiny pipe indeed. So stock plugs out the car. We put these in about, well, in December when we were at stage 1, an impromptu stage 1. So what are we saying then?
Yeah, I mean, they're the same plugs that we put in, so...
Anyway, they're out the car now, never to be returned. And over here we've got a set of NGKs now. The version we've gone for, well, there you can see on the screen, if it ever focuses, maybe not. The R7438-9s. Everyone's got their own kind of preferences, but these are the ones that you guys tend to use here, don't you?
They run colder, so you can push them a bit more and they don't get too hot and end up melting the tip.
Yeah, the last thing we want is a spark plug tip falling in the engine, and that's it, a nice little rebuild. It's not like a Mark 7 where you can just get an engine for 1800 quid off eBay.
Not quite.
Not quite. That's the only issue with the RS3 platform. Engines aren't exactly cheap. That's why prevention is key, even though we're not at a full stage 2 level yet, even though I've pretty much got most of the hardware. All you got to do is get a new intercooler, but I'm still deciding on what I'm going to get. And then it's pretty much full fat stage 2. I am working on getting some lightweight wheels for this thing because I want to do a few more handling mods compared to the old car, so all in good time. Okay, and now the main part of the video, changing the exhaust tips. All the other stuff is just background noise. This is what we've come to do today. Oh, look at that.
Do you want that in the bin or?
This might be a good look, isn't it? No exhaust tip. Or how about black on one side and then titanium on one? And just like that, the car's fixed. Doesn't matter what horsepower it's got, as long as it's got black exhaust tips, right, Dean?
That does look better.
It doesn't actually. I'm not even going to lie. It definitely does look better. I think I was just a bit, you know, aspirational. You know, you try new things, see if it sticks. Okay, so I just got the car outside so you can have a look at these in a bit more detail in the sunlight or whatever this is. Not exactly much to note. They're just not blue anymore. Surprised it's still clean. It's been on the motorway twice. Right, so dyno time. Now, just as a reference, my old white Sportback, when it had pretty much every other bolt on, including an intercooler, but with the stock airbox, it made around 520 PS, and I'm pretty sure when we put the Eventuri on, it bobbed up to around 540-ish. So it gained me around 20 PS. which is a noticeable difference. So that's what I'm thinking, because we made 480 last time, obviously still on the same stage 1 file, and it's also going to remain on the same stage 1 file today. Maybe to get into the 490s, maybe even get 500, because obviously we have got a full exhaust on it and there's no restriction from the cats or whatnot. But I think once we add the intercooler into the mix later on, that's where we're going to see a huge jump, probably get into the 520, 530 mark. I'm not too sure, each car obviously responds differently. Right, okay, so that was a few runs with the Eventuri intake. Now we're back again with Doug. So before we made 480 PS, now the best we made was 505 with no software changes.
Yeah, still the stage 1 plus, and that's 10 PS more from the red to the green, just because you're 15 degrees cooler.
Yeah, so we did do a few runs before. The car was quite hot, it was heat soaking, so we left it to cool. And yeah, that's what difference that makes. But yeah folks, I think this is a good place to end today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Drop a like if you did, and hopefully you did clear up any doubts about where the intakes work. 25 PS gain is no joke, that's very noticeable. And on the road as well, on the evening yesterday when I drove back from Evolve, car just feels a lot more eager to rev out, and yeah, it just feels better to drive. But yeah, look out for the next video in a few days time, subscribe and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.